Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lyds, and we're back for some more Thronebreaker, and we are back in Rivia after having fought some Rivians who were choosing to continue to side with the Nilfgaardians even after we returned. Was expecting a little more plot around that. It seemed like there was some potential for that to go somewhere, but it seems as though that is mostly just an aside. And so for what we have planned here for today, I'm thinking we're probably headed over here to whatever this point of interest is in what looks to be some kind of graveyard. And depending on how quick that is, may also make our way over here, as this looks like it may be just about required for us to take on this battle if we are to make it through to the next main quest mission, which is further in that direction there. But we'll see. There's of course always a chance we happen to pop into some other encounter that we didn't expect to run into, but only one way to find out. So let's head on over and see if there's anything of interest here. Spoke with these dudes. And oh, that's cool. It's a little puddle. I didn't notice at first, but then you saw the ripple effects and the glossiness, reflection off the water. That's well done. No more resources, and I think we didn't really expect to be able to afford the one remaining kind of, sort of, potentially relevant upgrade that remains, but I think that costs, we got a actually humongous chunk of gold last time around, or the time before that, and so now suddenly it feels a lot more feasible than it once did, and so I think we just need about 1,400 or so to make that happen now. Which doesn't seem that outlandish. What is this? That looks like a cave entrance for a second. I guess it's just some very dark shadows. Oh, is this the path that we theoretically know about? Not really. This seems like a hidden path of sorts. What is this? Well, that's the CDPR logo. Is this a hidden area? What the heck? I think we might have found a hidden area. Okay, well, I guess we were kind of just talking about that. But, didn't really expect for us to come across something this significant. What the heck? I recognize that music. Wait, that's not very loud? I don't know if you got... Wait, can I change the options here to bump it up? I recognize that. I recognize that. It went away. But, music changed as soon as we got here. And at first I thought, oh, okay, maybe it's going to give us some kind of more generic CDPR Gwent music. I mean, the Rivian music already is sort of an offshoot of the Thronebreaker main theme. But, no, that was Gaunter Dim music. That was the Gaunter Dim theme. And I had heard rumors. at one point in time that there was some kind of hidden area where you... Oh, there's more. Huh? That's weird. Don't know what to make of that. Is that a bug? Or is that supposed to be some kind of weird... cursed thing, because, well, that would kind of make sense if this is to be a Gaunter Dim themed area, which is, of course, a major character, perhaps the main character, from a Witcher 3 expansion, Hearts of Stone, and amazing part of the Witcher 3. But so I'd heard that this place existed, but I didn't really know anything else about it, because, obviously, as I've said many times before, going into this blind and really have not read or seen other people play the game at all. But I'd heard rumors, and I guess in the back of my mind figured that if a place like this would exist, that it would have existed in Ongren. I think I might have been assuming that maybe that area in Ongren that we had looked at a few times on the map that had the sort of like faces carved into stone, I had probably assumed that that would be it, or someplace in and around there. Not here. Now this is way more hidden. This is like way more hidden. So that's cool. Can we go down? Is this an opening as well? No? Okay. So what is the deal here? Should I be terrified? Should I be terrified? Because, you know, not to drop major Witcher 3 spoilers, although at this point, this far into Thronebreaker and this long after The Witcher 3 and Hearts of Stone came out, I think it's probably fair game to speak to some of the details there. Let's just say Gaunter did maybe not the best of guys. So, you know, if this place is themed after him, that's maybe some reason for concern. But what are we getting ourselves into here? What is the deal? The cost of ambition. Ooh, and I'm curious. I mean, you could make the case that is basically the theme of the entirety of Hearts of Stone, which, I mean, if you were to bundle up groups of missions in The Witcher 3, obviously you have the expansions where it's very easy to sort of group all those missions together. But if you could do that with the main quest as well, I guess what, based on each location, Hearts of Stone might be at the top of my list. Like, yes, Blood and Wine is also amazing, but it's so good, Hearts of Stone. So I'm very intrigued for that reason. So let's see, some people do whatever necessary to realize their ambitions. Cut any deal, pay any price. Sounds familiar. Sounds very familiar. For example, there was once a young Rivian man who sold his soul to master the arcane magical arts. To whom did he sell it, you might ask? Well, it's safer not to utter his name. Banish all enemy cards before yours are banished. It's a puzzle, special rules, just one round, custom deck. Okay, so very much Gaunter themed there. And I suppose, you know, nothing has explicitly stated it here, but this is a hint. This whole description here is sort of a hint. I mean, the person in the Hearts of Stone who strikes a deal very similar to this is not Rivian. He's Redanian, technically, sort of, I think. But very similar idea, and obviously the music as well. So collectively across those things, it's not heavy-handed, but it's not like it's that subtle either. But yeah, it never outright states it, I suppose. Alright, but let's see, what are we getting ourselves into here, because I'm excited. I'm hoping this is a really good one. I hope this is great. Okay. Oh, and I'm already intrigued. Okay, so banish all enemy cards before yours are banished. Wraith every turn on turn start. Banish 2 random enemy cards. So we need to do better than 2 cards per turn. Also, they have more cards than we have right now, don't they? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 per row, it looks like. So 16 total, whereas they look to have 9 per row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so they have a 2-card advantage here. Granted, we are going first. So let's see. What's the deal here? Surveillance. Reveal 2 cards. If they were identical, repeat this ability. Okay, well, I don't know what our cards do, but do our cards mess with their cards? Is this functionally a match 2 game? A memory game of sorts? No ability from Gascon Gamester? Okay. Seems like it's a memory game. So, okay. Oh. I'm a little too sleep deprived to be doing this right now, but let's see. Oh, no, on their side. Oh. Oh, okay. So maybe we banish them when we reveal them, and basically if we manage to match 2, then we can go on a streak. Okay, so that's Isbel Healer specifically. I feel like this is going to be way easier if we make a point of doing the ones that are in easy positions to remember. Rayla, Isbel. Rayla, Isbel Healer. So now they're going to do some stuff. Okay, I see. I see. So it is definitely a memory game. So Rayla it would have been a lot easier if I had done that in the opposite order. But Rayla, Isbel Healer. Patricide. Okay, so we know it's not either of those. I mean, the chances of us getting ones right next to each other like this are probably pretty low. I mean, I don't know if it's truly random. Like, okay. The fact that we haven't gotten any matches yet is pretty concerning, but... Okay, Patricide. We know that. Ache, we've not yet seen. Also, the fact that this is kind of a Gaunter themed, at least build up to this mission, and then here it is showing all of our friends that we've met along the way during our journey. It's a little bit concerning. You know, is Gaunter Dim messing with us here? Okay, so Ache is somewhere. Right, not there though. And that was also kind of a random one, so that's a little dangerous messing around like that. Like, I'm not gonna remember exactly which one I clicked on for Best Boy. And I, for that reason, probably shouldn't have done that for Reynard either. Okay, Isabel Healer. It was Rayla then Isabel, right? So it's this. I mean, theoretically, it gets easier the more that you've removed, because it's less likely that you come across ones you haven't seen before. I don't think we've seen Gascon yet. There's a chance he's here. He's not, Gabor is there. This, the or the leftmost one used to be Patricide, but now it's no longer him. Was it this one or was that? Okay, as I said, you could definitely go about this more systematically. And I should have gone about this more systematically, but okay. It was one of these. I want to say, and once the cards get removed and kind of shifts them over a bit, that also, at least in my head, makes it a little bit harder to picture where they once were. It's like it was around here before, but has that shift change things? Yes, okay, but that's Reynard's right there. So Best Boy, Reynard. Reynard, Best Boy, run out of time, but Reynard, Best Boy, should be Best Boy there, yep, okay. So theoretically this should now get easier, although we're probably stuck now with some cards that we haven't really seen before. Rayla is over here. Okay. Then who's left? We did flip this, but I don't remember who it was. Gascon was there? Yes. Okay. Now, at this point, it's kind of just a 50-50, and with this many cards from... shouldn't be paying close attention to the number of cards in our hand as much as we should be paying close attention to the number of cards we have on our side. So yeah, we have a very limited amount of time, but... Ache. Oh, right, we did flip him. That's who that was before. Yeah, that was a bad idea, because I mean, if I had remembered that we had flipped that one, which, again, it's late right now. Yeah, we either have no information about these, or they've moved so much that I no longer remember what they are. So flipping any other card besides this would have been much more impactful. But that was lucky. Okay, so, yeah, because we hadn't seen Caldwell anywhere. But, alright, there we go. So, I do like how every once in a while we'll see puzzles that kind of find a way to turn the Gwent game into other games that, you know, like a memory game in this case. I think we've seen Match 3 or something like... Yeah, we saw like a Bejeweled is sort of the way that I think of it. Those types of games. Oh, and we get Black Blood, okay. Card has been added to our army, can be found in the command. I felt like we'd seen this before. There's also a chat. Oh, okay. But yeah, there's that. There's the ones where occasionally, for puzzles, we'll have a character that's walking through an area, like some dungeons and what have you. So it is cool how, you know, it's not just a simple... Or, not that puzzles are simple, but it's not just the same formula where it's, you know, there's one specific combo that you need to execute in order to complete this puzzle, and that's the only way to finish it correctly. They're just totally different spins on it like this, which, you know, not that I'm a huge memory game fan, but that is, it's just interesting how creative they've gotten with some of that stuff, finding ways to recreate different games. Well, so, Xavier obviously is no longer on our team. Also, we now perhaps have a much lower opinion of him than we once did. And, but okay. Now, theoretically, if I could ever match synchronize the rewards from Thronebreaker to multiplayer Gwent, we could get that. Let's see. Amadeus Rittenhoff. In exchange for thorough knowledge of the arcane... Oh, this is must be the deal that the guy was making with this mysterious person that we totally don't know who he is. Definitely not. So this dude, in exchange for thorough knowledge of the arcane magical arts, hereby pledge my soul. I shall repay my debt only at such time when the sun rises over Rivia in the dark of night. Okay. And you know there's going to be some trick. And I mean, this also is extremely reminiscent of Hearts of Stone. But there's going to be some trick by which that situation that seems impossible will actually, I'm sure, will realize have come to pass in this very area. And so he will have to have paid on that debt. I signed this contract with my blood in full understanding that it cannot, under any circumstance, be breached. Okay, so what are we looking for here? We're looking for indications of some sun rising over Rivia at night. Sun rising over Rivia at night. Like, this is a circle, and the way that the sort of cobblestone around it is built out, it almost looks like a sun, or maybe even that. You could almost make the case. Looks like a sun. Oh! No, it's more of a play on words. Wait, what was the phrasing? Sun rises in Rivia at night. It's the Nilfgaardians, the Great Sun, attacking Rivia at night. Which makes sense why that would happen right around now. Because that's only a recent thing that the Nilfgaardians have attacked. Okay, so I think that's the entirety of this hidden bonus area. So, I mean, we have certainly at times wandered around the maps aimlessly looking for those hidden chests or the places where we have a treasure map but can't actually locate where the hidden treasure is. On this occasion, all of our wandering did in fact pay off, as we found what was technically a hidden area that really did not show up on the map. And as I said, that was a area that I'd heard rumor of before. I was intrigued, and I think was a little concerned that we had not found it in some ways, because in the back of my mind, I'd assumed that it was in Ongren. And when we did not find it there, I thought, well, okay, I guess missed opportunity in that case, but there it is. We stumbled across it, nonetheless. But what is this? This we do know about. This did know about in advance.
As the passed a cemetery, marching along its ivy-covered wall, they heard mourners wailing pitifully to a priestess's moving song. The soldiers dutifully lowered their heads. Their minds sought out fallen comrades and kin, and they wondered whom else the war would yet claim.
I mean, yes. I mean, this is kind of a positive title, and I suppose this is a Rivian graveyard, and so that's a very realistic thing to be concerned about on this occasion, because there might be some familiar names on some of these gravestones, unfortunately. But at the same time, maybe it's just that we went from the Gaunter Odin themed area, but a little concerned about some curses and what have you.
Listen, said Gascon, stirring Meve from her own meditation.
I think
some kind of twist.
What for? To offer your condolences?
Grave robber?
Speaking. But just go on. I'll rejoin you soon.
Gascon? What are you on about? What are you doing? Follow Gascon. Continue on. Okay, so he's up to something. And it's, he's pretty devious. So it may not be the most wholesome of things. He, of course, was / still is a bandit, and being in a graveyard where there may be some possessions that once belonged to these now deceased people, there may be some opportunities that present themselves to him. Although his tone of voice and his speech there doesn't really sound so much like he's trying to sneak off to steal, because I feel like he'd be more subtle in that case. This feels more like he has something embarrassing that he doesn't want to admit to, that he feels the need to do right now, but he doesn't want to do that in front of Meve or anyone else here. He wants to do that in private. So maybe he just has to mourn for somebody and wants to be alone when he does that. So I think for that reason, we just let Gascon do his thing. and we give him his personal space, and we just accept the fact that maybe that's totally fine what he's about to do. Maybe it is something that's not all that legal, and then if that is the case, then okay, we'll sort it out, and it might get a little bit ugly, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt, I think.
Meve nodded, spurred her mount, and rode on. By nightfall, Gascon had indeed rejoined the force. Ignoring his companion's inquisitive looks, he simply sat and stared fixedly into the fire. Meve thought Gascon would explain his absence, or at the very least devise a witty excuse for absconding.
He's usually very talkative.
He never uttered a word.
That is odd. That is odd. Okay. I mean, everybody grieves in their own way, so, I mean, that may be all there is to it. I don't know if that name is of any significance to Gascon specifically. Alright, now we're gonna rob graves. So, who are we to criticize him if that is what he was about to do? But it still doesn't really seem like it. Seems like there's something a lot more, you know, that a typical person mourning. It seems like a more typical response of someone mourning, not some criminal who's trying to, you know, do something to take advantage of the people who have lost loved ones here. At least I kind of hope that's the case. Otherwise, we might have ourselves a difficult situation to resolve on our hands very shortly. But let's see. Reginald the Courteous to Father Danilo, caretaker of Girderwood Cemetery. Pardon my gnomish, but I don't give a flying rat's arse about peace for the dead. You'll do as you've been told. Dig up the brassards, chop them to bits, and burn them to ash? What the heck? And be sure to turn them statues and gravestones to rubble. If you ever refuse me again, I'll make sure you share the same fate as those traitors. Maybe there is something to that name. Maybe that is actually either Gascon's family name or close friends of his, and they were... I mean, that would kind of make sense if that was his family. Or at least I can paint a picture in my head where that's his family. They were accused of being some sorts of traitors, and maybe it's true, but that basically made them outcasts. And so maybe some of his family members were killed in response to that. Gascon escaped, but that does sort of seem like the kind of situation where if you are an outcast like that, what tends to happen? You have to... You're not accepted in everyday society, and so you need to resort to other means to sustain yourself and make a livelihood for yourself. In other words, oftentimes you have to resort to crime. So I could see a world in which that type of thing would lead Gascon to becoming a bandit, and so to come back here and see that this is what has come of his family or friends would be a tough experience. Tough thing to process. So I wonder. And I don't know if we'll ever get confirmation about that one way or the other, or perhaps that only happens if you do, in fact, follow Gascon. But ultimately, we just chose to respect what he desired at the time, and I think that's all we can realistically look to do in this situation.
Oh, why have they left us? Milky, why?
Move that candle. To the left. No, higher.
Good mother, grant him eternal peace.
Oof.
Move that candle.
Okay.
To the left. No, higher.
So, I mean, for what it's worth, it's usually when we have the narrator coming in and we have those types of conversations like that, it's in the build-up to a relatively significant either encounter in which we're going to play some Gwent, some Thronebreaker Gwent, or there's some major decision to be had. I mean, yes, there was a decision, but there wasn't really any follow-up at all to it, so it makes you wonder if maybe a lot more would have happened had we chosen the other option. I mean, I'm sure in that case we would have at the very least had a conversation with Gascon, and that obviously was not the case here, although perhaps later on we will actually follow up with him? Hold on, though. Oh, we did get a new card. I saw this icon here, and for a second I thought maybe in the mess tent? And that does not happen often, but maybe in the mess tent we would have reason to talk with him and he'd have more to say. Let's maybe quickly check that, but I kind of doubt it. So you'd think there would be
Meve,
an actual...
I
Oh,
must say it again, I'm sorry. And I thank you for forgiving me.
No need to say any more, Gascon.
But you've got to know,
Every time you bring it up, I'm tempted to change my mind. Now let's turn to the task at hand.
okay.
It's time I attended to other matters. Farewell.
Not sure we've heard that before, but not that much substance to it. I was mostly curious to see, do we get some kind of answer as to what exactly was happening there at the cemetery leading up to it, but doesn't seem like it. Again, maybe later we will. There'll be some kind of follow-up later on, but that remains to be seen. The new card, though, is Black Blood. This is the one that we got from that encounter where we did the puzzle in the Gaunter themed area, so damage all enemies by 1 and boost an ally by the amount damaged. Okay, so theoretically, maximum number of units on a board at one point in time is 18 if every row is full. So if every row is full with an enemy, none of them have armor, and, are otherwise still capable of receiving damage. There's nothing else preventing them from getting hit. That's 18 damage, 18 boosts. Because it's just a little bit of damage to every unit, it's not great at removing stuff. It's better at just doing a large amount of damage if they have a bunch of stuff on the board. Whereas applying all those boosts to one card on our side means to, make one unit really big, which usually in multiplayer Gwent at least is not a great thing because it makes it really obvious for your opponent to go after that card if they have any sort of removal. I mean, to the extent that the AI in Thronebreaker is smart enough to do that, who knows? But one thing that does come to mind is the Alchemists. That could be another way to make that work with them is, we're relying very heavily on the Infiltrators to get boosted from, in particular, the Tainted Ale combo. So you go Tainted Ale, get something boosted up, Infiltrator next to that, Infiltrator gets really big, Infiltrator comes back, play something small next to the Infiltrator, use the Alchemists to make that unit as strong as the Infiltrators, and that's pretty valuable. But this is another way for us to make that happen without having to rely on the Infiltrators in case we don't draw into them or can't get them for some other reason. Maybe we've already used them. So, okay. Okay, the ceiling is very high. If you do get 18 points of damage and 18 points of boost, that's 36 points, and potentially good setup for the Alchemist as well, which could make it 18 more points, or however much. So that is really good. I mean, chances are, more often than not, it's going to be a lot less valuable than that, but that might still be reason enough to try it out every now and again, and probably pretty matchup dependent, because, if your opponent has just a small number of really strong cards, then this doesn't hit very much, deals very little damage, gives you very little boost, and then you're going to wish that you use something else instead. So it's certainly something we could consider throwing in, although I'm not sure that it's an automatic inclusion per se, but we'll see. It's at the very least something we should consider. And I think that means that, unless there's some other hidden area elsewhere, it does not appear as though there's anything other than this battle here, and it does seem as though this is more or less required, unless we can, sneak through here, which I'm not really sure that can happen. But basically, point being, I really hope this is not some extremely difficult battle, because if it is, then we might hit a bit of a roadblock. Whereas if this is super difficult, then at least, and we are able to circumvent it at least temporarily, then at least there's that where we can go further, maybe take on this main quest, as long as this isn't a midpoint where we are not allowed to turn back like we saw in Ongren. Then we could give ourselves a little more time to improve our deck further or do whatever else we need to do before we head back here and take this on when we're a little bit stronger. So that's my concern. I hope that's not the case, but maybe I'm just getting concerned for no reason. So obviously, it's been a while now that we've gone. It's been a little while we've gone without having to craft any cards, so I'd like to keep it that way if we can. But maybe we can check. I mean, it looks like a Nilfgaard. Oh, Nilfgaardian area of some variety. What the heck is this, though? I mean, I was trying to see if we can sneak around this side. This looks like a cliff that we can't go down. I mean, there is stuff there, but we can't loot it from here. No boats we can hop into. Oh, look. Okay, I guess there's a fair bit more than we had done here, or at least looted. So obviously we went over there, because I remember interacting with that Nilfgaard dude. But I guess we had not checked here. And what is this? It looks like a nest, but my guess is perhaps a monster nest. Let's see, my lady, neckers have nested in the field. The beasts have a nasty habit of hoarding stolen trinkets. We may unearth some of them, but I cannot guarantee we'll escape without losses. Let's see, this does, yeah. Seemed like the kind of situation where Ache could have resolved it for us, and unfortunately, no Ache, so it's not really something we can do right now. We can say, continue on and take no risk in the matter, or we can sacrifice 4 recruits to make it happen. And granted, recruits, assuming that we are not going to need to do much, if any, crafting, don't matter much to us. So is this yeah, it's the same reward as you would have gotten if you still had Ache. It's just that you don't have to pay the recruits, because Ache is better than having 4 basic soldiers trying to take this on. But I think this is still worth doing. It's a small bonus, but, you know, if the recruits are truly meaningless to us, then it's, in a way, almost like free money. So we'll take it. And after picking up some loot as well, wow. Yeah, no, I mean, we certainly picked up some loot on the side of the roads, but I don't think we got that much, or it didn't seem like it. And yet, seemingly, we've gotten almost 1,000 from that alone, or from, you know, all the stuff we did today. And that is significant, because we were saying, hold on, I thought it was 5,000. It's the next upgrade. It is, and we certainly have enough wood, so we are not far away from doing that. And then, I mean, at that point, yeah, we should probably save some resources. We shouldn't spend every last cent to get this upgrade that may not really mean much to us in practice. Just in case we need to craft some things, we should make sure we have the ability to do it. Even if we don't want to, we have to at least give ourselves that ability so that we don't find ourselves getting locked in place if we run into a battle like this that we have to do that we cannot actually succeed in. But with that being said, I think this is probably a good place for us to wrap up here, and then next time we'll see what the deal is here with this Nilfgaardian fortress of sorts. What? Lids, it's a Rivian fortress that the Nilfgaardians have taken over? Okay, fair enough. But hopefully next time, that means that we can rid said fortress of the Nilfgaardians and proceed onward, perhaps, if there's nothing else over here, to whatever this next main quest mission is. So we shall see, but thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you next time.